Hello, everyone. My name is Chris. I call myself now Chris the Real Deal because I try to be straightforward with everything that I do. I used to be called Chris the Puppet Master, where I had dummies. I sold two of them. I had three. I still got Curtis, the main one, the dummy who actually did time with me. He did 10 years with me in New York State Prison. A lot of you know my story. You know that in 2022, I walked out of prison after doing 44 straight years. Not 4 years, not 44 months, 44 straight years. And my wife of 41 years picked me up. It was the most exciting, heartfelt day of my life to be actually free. But then once I got home, fear hit me like a bucket of cold water because the world that I thought I knew was not the world that I'm now a part of. Technology had taken over. All the streets and homes and people that I once knew was either dead or had moved out of state. Streets was changed. Houses tore down. The city was no longer the city that I grew up in. And yet, I refused to give up. So my wife and I, we pulled together. We stayed here. And I found a job. I found a job that I went to. I've never worked a day in my life in a job. And I became, after 3.5 years, the best worker that young lady was. It's a lady who owned the company. And she always tell me how proud she is of me and how when she first hired me, she didn't think I was going to make it because of my prison background and the nature of my crime. And I must say this, once again, I apologize and say how sorry I am for causing the death of someone who should never have died. Never had died. I should have died, and she should have continued to live on. But God had other plans. Why? I'll never know. So, over the years, her kids have reached out to me, and we've cried together. We've talked, and she forgave me, her daughter, forgiven me. And even though I have never forgiven myself, because that's a hard thing when you cause the death of someone, it's hard to let it go. I still have nightmares about it. But nevertheless, God is still working on me. I wasn't a Christian when I went to prison. And then when I got out, I called myself an upside down sinner, working my way to become a Christian, an upright Christian. And it was hard because what I thought I knew, I didn't know. Seemed like every time I got the answers, someone came along and changed all the questions. So I had to constantly start over and over all the time. Well, as time went by, I got caught up on TikTok and other social medias, Facebook, and my followers, they grew. I was on there as the puppet master with Curtis, Racist Larry, and Playboy. But as time went by, I gave them up. As I said, I sold two of them, and I'm looking to sell Curtis as well. He's the one that did time with me in prison, New York State Prison. True story. So I used to listen to motivation tapes by Oprah Winfrey, Steve Harvey, Les Brown, different ones. And each one of them spoke about a vision board, how they wrote everything they wanted in life. They wrote it down, and they prayed over it day in, day out. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try it. So this was my vision board where I wrote everything down. It was only 5 different things. I didn't want to overburden God with too much, but I wrote it down. And every day, my wife and I, every day, every night, we would pray over this board. We would pray. Now, during my time out, I got scammed a few times. I got hustled a few times. Even my first car that I had, it was robbed by the Kia and Honda boys and girls. But I didn't give up. I held firm in my belief. I held strong that I'm going to continue to move forward, not backwards. I was going to hold on, not let go. And I was going to look up, not down. And yes, there was times, even in spite of all of that I just said, there was times I wanted to go back to prison because I felt safe, secure, and I knew about prison. 44 years, you learn a lot while you're there. But I said no. So I kept going on. I kept moving forward. Some of you may remember I even had Pearl Duchess oil that I use and still use till today. I tried to sell that, but nobody wanted to buy it. They must have thought it was a con or something. My wife used it. She's 85. She don't look 85 at all. I'm 67. I don't look 67. You know, aside from not having no teeth, but that had nothing to do with my looks. So from there, I worked. I go to work, come home, go to work, come home, and pray over our home. Then one day, I put a GoFundMe together, asking people to help me to get my dream home. Maybe 5 or 6 people did it, and I made a total of maybe $400. But that didn't work. But I didn't give up. I kept holding on to my dreams. And next thing you know, I got my own home. A beautiful 2-bedroom with a garage, backyard home. That's because I kept praying and believing in the vision board and trusting in God. God helped me obtain that which I prayed for. Prayers work, and I'm here to tell you that they do work. Then from a home, I had to get other things like a snowblower, lawnmower. I received all of them. People gave me a lawnmower. I got 2 lawnmowers. Then I had to get other things. And then I got tired of asking guys who had a truck for their truck. That's their property. But they would do it because they knew what I was trying to do. So 2 weeks ago, I went and bought my own truck. And every penny that I received was money that I saved up. The money that I made from selling the other 2 dummies, I kept it in the bank, savings. Prayers, I kept praying and praying because I really believed God was going to help me. And God did just that. He helped me. I got my truck, I got my home, and the relationship with my wife is stronger than ever. My point I'm trying to make to you here is that with prayer and trusting in God, you can actually do it. And while I'm talking, I'm going to play this song that I wrote. I wrote the song. Now, we all have a story to tell. We all have heartaches and pain. Yes, we all.
You did God save me from killing my no good self. Why did God stick around when I was all by myself? This is my testimony how God God saved me.
He saved me.
From the heartache, shame, and pain that was imprisoned inside of me. I was 5 years old when I saw my father die.
When I saw my father
Shot
die.
between the eyes as I sat by his side. I never knew hatred until that day, as I still watched and cried.
Yes. These are my words, my testimony.
So please. Tell me, God, why I had grow up and live this way with a heart filled with hatred each and every day. Why would you save me with a broken heart that was cold, broken
A
beyond?
lot of us feel that way.
Why would you love me when I didn't care?
Why would God love you when you didn't love yourself?
Years passed by as my life got worse. Ended up causing the death of someone who never should have died. I was sentenced to life in prison for the crime I had committed. So tell me, God, why did they have to die? As you allowed my pitiful life to live on, why couldn't you save them and left my brokenness alone? Years passed by, 44 to be exact, as I learned how to be a man with a heart so true. God, you.
Yes. We all have a story to
What is
tell.
your question or request?
No, Google. That's one thing about Google. If they think you asking them a question, they're going to try to get an answer for you. So anyway, what I'm saying is, I have to change classes. All right, time is up. I got to go. Thank you for listening to me, and God bless each and every one of you.